Hey there! Today we are going to talk about workflow changes, specifically the kinds of changes that you might make after some people have already made it into or through a workflow. So, for an example, let's say that you created a product, you created the workflow to go with it, and things are going great. You're selling your product, and the workflow that you had set up is adding tags. It sends them an email. Things are going awesome, but you've decided that you want to make some changes to your offer and maybe add a course. Great. You can go into the workflow that you've already set up and you can add that course, the offer for that course into your workflow so that anybody who enters it from here on out is automatically going to get access to that course. But if anybody has already purchased your product and made it through the workflow before you add the course, they're still going to need access. So we're going to go over how you can handle that. There are a couple of things you can do. You can add it manually through their contacts, but if you have a whole bunch of people who made it through before you added your course, say you're going through and updating your products and making things better, a while after you created it, and there's a whole bunch of people who bought it, but you want to make it even better, then you're going to need to try to like bulk add them to something. So we're going to go over how to do that too. So first, we're going to go ahead and head over to contacts. Here are where you might see your contacts. You can go over to contacts in your menu, and then we're going to want to filter for the people that you have who have purchased that product. You will have added a tag to them, hopefully. So we can go over to those more filters and then come down for a tag. And then right here where tag is, you can select the tag that you're looking for. So I'm going to head on down to the one I'm looking for and hit apply. So now everyone who got that tag is in this filter and I can see them. Things are great. We can, if we want to, go into each of these because there aren't that many. And once we're inside their contacts, scroll down to their course offers. We can come in here and get a drop down of our offers and find the one we're looking for and add it to them. There we go. All set. This person now has that course access. However, and I'm going to remove this because I'm going to add them to my other option. So I'm going to take that back off and then we'll go back out here. If you decide that you have too many, that you don't want to do it manually for each one, which is fully understandable, you still have some options. So what we can do is create a workflow just for them and then add them all to it. So I'm going to come back over here to this workflow that I have. The course has been added, but that isn't going to necessarily work for the people we're talking about. So what I want to do with this workflow is come back out of it and clone it. So I've got it all ready to go, and I'm going to come and duplicate this workflow and name it something else. I'm going to call this oops, and create it. It's going to take a second to show up, and here we go. We're going to come on in here and I'm going to make some changes to it because if I wanted them to go back through and get a new email and all those things, I could just dump them into this workflow, but I don't want that. So I am going to go ahead and take this course grant offer one that I do want them to have, and I'm going to move it all the way up. And then I'm going to take everything else, actually, and I'm going to delete it. So it did not mean to go in here. Here we go. Hit these three buttons and I am going to delete this action, and then I can delete everything that's below it. Delete. So now I've got this cute little workflow that is going to let me grant the course offer that I'm looking for to the people I add into this workflow. Now I'm going to need to change the trigger because they already triggered this. So this one isn't going to work for them, but I can add a tag that will let them come into this. You can create whatever you want. I'm going to come up here and change my trigger. So I'm just going to search for tag, contact tag. So now we've got a tag. And I'm going to filter for tag added and then hit select tag, and I'm going to make a new one. And I think I'm just going to call it oops. So, and then I can add that new tag. Now there's an oops tag. So anybody who gets the oops tag is going to come into this one. This makes it easy for me because I can just get rid of that tag as soon as I'm done, or I can remove it from this particular workflow and use it for things in the future. So I'm going to save the trigger. So their contact tag is oops, and they get access to the course that I want them to have. I'm going to publish, save, and here we go. I have a workflow that is going to work for those contacts. So now we're going to go back out and go over to contacts, and I have my nice little list of the people who need access, and all they need now is that oops tag. So I have them all selected. I can make sure they all get it, and we can add tags for everyone in the workflow. They all show up here. We can create an action name, and I'm just going to call it oops again. And select a tag. Oops. All right, now they've got their oops tag, and I am going to add it. Now they've got a brand new tag that should trigger the workflow we just published. So now we can go and check on whether or not they were able to make it through our workflow. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. And then we can go through and check on the enrollment history and see all of our people made it in, they finished, and they got their course access. And then as a double check, we can go into one of the contacts. All right, the contact is going to open up, and now I can come down, and as it loads, it will let me see course offers. The one that I wanted is right here. They got their course offer. So everything worked out great. Awesome. Now, I don't necessarily want them to have that oops tag. There could be a lot of reasons. But one is that I can use that oops tag again, but it won't work if they already have it. So I'm going to go and find my people who have the oops tag. Oops. Apply. Here we go. Now all of my people with my oops tag are right here. And then I can hit this button so that it selects all of them. And then I can hit remove tags. Action name. Remove oops. I don't want to remove all tags. I just want to remove their oops tag that I gave them. Remove tags. I can go ahead and check on that progress again. It's complete. They all have the oops tag removed. So they were able to get their course. I was able to put them all through that really quickly at the same time. And then I'll probably go in and move that automation that I made, the workflow. I'm going to come back out here. I shouldn't need it anymore because, like you saw earlier with the other workflow, everybody who comes into it now is going to get that course access. So I don't really need this one anymore. And just to avoid any drama, if something was going to happen, I'm going to switch this one back into draft because I don't really need it. And I'm probably going to delete it. But just for this, just in case, I'm going to just put it in draft for now. And that is all you should need in order to make some changes to a workflow and make sure that everybody's on the same page.